Hello there, hello there, guys. Welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. Do you think that Mauricio Pochettino will be Manchester United's next manager? Obviously now he isn't currently in management, as I did update you this morning, and obviously he did confirm yesterday that Mauricio Pochettino was sacked by Tottenham after 5 years in charge and that, and obviously now Tottenham have recommended Jose Mourinho to replace Mauricio Pochettino. By the way, Jose Mourinho is set to earn around £15 million a year at Tottenham. That is almost double than what Mauricio Pochettino currently got, and he has signed a contract until the end of the 2022 and 2023 season as Jose Mourinho. But do you think Jose Mourinho anyway is going to do a good job with Tottenham? Obviously, Tottenham have enjoyed a really difficult start to the season anyway. They are sitting 14th in the league. Mauricio Pochettino, during his tenure, though, with Tottenham, mainly did good. He got Tottenham to their first ever League Cup final in his first full season. He also guided them to 2 third-place finishes. They come close on a couple of occasions to winning the league. They also came runners-up in 2017, and also Pochettino got Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final last season, but they did lose by 2 goals to nil against Liverpool and that. But I probably do believe that Mauricio Pochettino, would be the right candidate for Manchester United. He is well Premier League proven. Obviously, he's good at developing young players, and I probably do presume that Pochettino's philosophy, would suit the club fantastically well. Don't forget, after the sacking of Jose Mourinho in December of last year, actually Mauricio Pochettino was my primary candidate, but obviously at that current time, Mauricio Pochettino had no intentions of leaving Tottenham. I also added into the equation that Daniel Levy is a hard negotiator, and that when it comes to getting players or or any of their managers. But I think the couple of reasons why we went with Solsjaker is because obviously Solsjaker knows the traditions of the club, plus he was a cheaper solution, and obviously at the time he was in for Pochettino would probably have to pay £32 million in compensation. Don't forget Pochettino, when was it the summer of 2018, he signed a 5-year contract with Tottenham and that, don't forget. But I think now Pochettino will probably get another job more than likely. I think Bayern Munich have obviously been interested in him. Is there any possibility chance he could go to Arsenal, because obviously Emre has been under serious pressure with Arsenal. But Pochettino, did enjoy 5 good years with Tottenham. Obviously before he was at Tottenham, he had a really short tenure with Southampton and that. Before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. And Pochettino's been managing now for just over 10 years, because he began his managerial career in 2009 and that. But he has got that managerial experience. The only element of concern I've got about Pochettino is that obviously he hasn't won out in terms of silverware, so that's the only real element of concern I have got about him. But I think Solskjaer is under pressure at Man United anywhere, because obviously for the vast majority of this season we have been inconsistent. Obviously, we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for over 30 years. Like I mentioned, the last time we had as bad a start to a season as this was back under the Ron Atkinson era. This was obviously before the Alex Ferguson era and that. But quite recently, we have rejuvenated ourselves anywhere. So you can put into the equation that reflect on that. The pressure has eased off Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a little bit. But has it been a change of scenario now? With Mauricio Pochettino getting sacked. But I think if we do decide to sack Solskjaer, I think it's very, very imminent that Pochettino will be our next manager, because I think he'll take the job at Manchester United if he does become vacant and that. Obviously, we'd have to pay, something in compensation, to get rid of Solskjaer. I do believe, we'd have to pay a substantial amount in compensation to get rid of him. We probably wouldn't have to pay as much, to get rid of, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as we did do with Jose Mourinho. But so Pochettino, could be Man United's next current manager and that. But it did confirm this yesterday. As for Jose Mourinho, though, like I said, he's regarded as one of the best managers in the world. Obviously, he did enjoy 2.5-year tenure at Man United. I obviously already give you the variety of reasons why his tenure didn't work out at Man United. And Jose Mourinho is the longest serving manager we've had. Since the Alex Ferguson era. But the reasons it didn't work out for him at Man United is because he had bad disputes with the board. He had bad disputes with some of the top players. Obviously, the board weren't backing the signs that he wanted to recommend into the football club during the summer. And Jose Mourinho did also spend a substantial amount at Man United. I think he did recommend 11 players in, and he spent around £400 million or just under £400 million. He's won a lot of silverware, so far during his managerial career. In total, at the moment, he has won 25 major honours. He won the Europa League and League Cup with us in his first season. He won 3 Premier League titles at Chelsea and an FA Cup. He actually enjoyed 2 spells with Chelsea. He also won the Champions League with Porto and Inter Milan. But he's now officially Tottenham's new manager, as you all currently know and that. So possibly Mauricio Pochettino, could be my next manager. Don't forget, there was ongoing speculation, obviously, about Max Allegri, possibly, becoming Man United's next manager. And obviously, at one point, he was my primary candidate, was Max Allegri. I think probably Max Allegri is totally comparison to Mauricio Pochettino, because obviously Pochettino's well Premier League proven. As you know, Max Allegri obviously has never managed in the Premier League, and that he's actually so far spent the entirety of his managerial career as Max Allegri in Italy. But obviously he's emulated himself up over the years because he actually started managing smaller various Italian clubs. Obviously he's managerless at the moment. Max Allegri has been managerless since the end of last season when he stepped down as Juventus manager. And Max Allegri enjoyed a 5-year tenure with Juventus and obviously progressed Juventus to 2 Champions League finals. Obviously won the vast majority of his silver with Juventus and that. But he did say, after the 1-0 defeat to Newcastle during that current international break, that Max Allegri, was in negotiations with Manchester United, regarding, what salary, he would earn if he was to be recommended to the football club. Also, he wanted to assure a couple of things. If he was to be recommended in, he wanted to recommend Patrice Evra as one of his coaching staff. He also wanted to recommend Mario Mandzukic and Emre Can to the football club. But I haven't really heard any narratives recently from the mainstream media about Max Allegri coming to Manchester United anywhere. But Solsjaker is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era and that. And I did say anyway, we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers, despite the fact, we've already sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, the club sacked David Moyes after 10 months. He only had a really short tenure with the football club, did David Moyes. Obviously, I think, Man United have made several mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years, and maybe this is one of the main factor reasons why we are a toxic club. Well, we've been a toxic club for so many years, and it's probably not the only reason, I should presume, but one of the mistakes Ferguson made, and it was the only mistake he made, was recommending, David Moyes into the football club, but it's the only mistake he did make. Obviously, after Moyes left, Van Gaal came in, he lasted just over a year. He got sacked, despite the fact he won the FA Cup, Louis Van Gaal. And also, Jose Mourinho got sacked, like I mentioned, after he enjoyed a 2.5-year tenure with the football club. So we can't, keep sacking managers anywhere. But I do believe that recently anyway, that Ed Woodward has assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe, for now at least. Obviously, Ed Woodward and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have got the same perceptions, basically, because Ed Woodward insists he's the right man to elevate Man United forward, and also Ole Gunnar Solskjaer insists he's the right manager, to take Manchester United forward and that. Solskjaer, as you all know, has got a 3-year contract with the football club. He had been given this 3-year contract when he had got the job permanently back in March earlier on this year. I can assure that Solskjaer, still will be here at the end of the season, because I think our current board at the start of this season did assure did assure that, regardless of the outcome this season, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job will be safe and that. Because I think they realised that they didn't back him enough during the course in the summer. But I can almost assure that Solskjaer will not see out his 3-year contract at the football club. But obviously we know that recently we have rejuvenated ourselves, which is a positive and that. I've seen a variety of changes, quite recently. I think in the last 6 or 7 games, we've looked better. Disregarding the 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth, we have actually looked better. Certain players have stepped up to the plate. I think we've showed a lot of tactical flexibility. That's also a positive because, like I said, for the vast majority of this season, a lot of Man United fans, including me, have been criticising, Solskjaer's tactics because for the vast majority of this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics have obviously been very questionable. They've been very questionable and that, but he has been tactically naive for the vast majority of the season. Obviously, on a regular basis this season, Solskjaer has been going over that 4-2-3-1 formation, and we do know really that 4-2-3-1 formation hasn't really been working out. I also believe the performances have improved recently. The results have obviously been very, very positive, but it still doesn't really change my perceptions regarding Solskjaer. I still believe he isn't the long-term future for Manchester United. Maybe if we can keep this good run of form up until January, or if we can keep this good run of form up until the end of the season, then maybe my perception, will start changing regarding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I think, Ed Woodward and the board are obviously, backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 100%. I think we are willing to give him at least a couple more windows, to see who else he can recommend to the football club. Because, take into account that, the vast majority of this team is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. Actually, the vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's, and there's only 3 players here that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So I also wanted to add that into the equation. But the good thing is that Solskjaer is now making plans for January. He's making plans for January. I was reading recent reports, and he did say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is only going to be reportedly given around £200 million to spend in January and next summer. But these question marks regarding that, is that enough, to address all the deficiencies in the squad, basically? It's basically, dependent on, how we are with our recruitment. It's basically dependent on that. Obviously, we're known, for overpaying for players, especially in recent years. I think maybe for £200 million, we could maybe get at least 2 or 3 players. We could maybe get 4 players for £200 million. But there is a lot of players on our agenda, next year anywhere who we could go in for. I think one thing Ed Woodward has recently assured that Solskjaer will be backed, obviously, but he's also promised, the club world-class signings next year. So hopefully, this can materialise because, we do need Galactico signs. But there again, it's not always about, spending big on players and, getting them Galactico players in. But one thing that definitely does need to improve, our recruitment has definitely got to improve, because our recruitment has been very poor, not only recently, but for several years, and that is definitely an element of concern. But we've recommended 3 players into the squad during the course of the summer. We spent nearly £150 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire, and they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Manchester United careers and that. And I'm surprised of how quick they have settled in. And it was actually good during the summer that we did address some of the problematic areas which we needed to do anywhere. But it was just a shame that we didn't address all the problematic areas. But there is still definitely deficiencies in the squad that need to be addressed. I think we definitely need at least one midfielder. I think we probably need 2 midfielders, should I say, but we definitely need to recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. You could pinpoint that was a mistake from Man United getting rid of Ander Herrera, because you could arguably say he was one of our best players since the Alex Ferguson era. He had 5 years at Man United, did Herrera, and I think analysing it, you can say he had 3.5, 4 good years out of the 5 years, when he was here. And the most frustrating thing about it was obviously letting his contract run down and letting him go on a free transfer. But I think we need a CDM, and we also need an attacking midfielder. We also need at least one striker. We definitely need to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, because you can say for the vast majority of this season at least that we've looked very exposed in that attacking line following their departures. But you can say recently we've looked a bit better in that attacking third in the pitch, because recently we've seemed to be creating more chances. And that's obviously something we've been struggling with for the vast majority of this season. It has been an element of concern, and it is probably the explanation why we haven't been scoring enough goals. But recently we've created more chances, we've proven to be more clinical, we've scored more goals recently, and also with Rashford obviously rejuvenating himself recently. Obviously with Anthony Martial now back in the team, he adds more inspiration in that attacking third in the pitch and that. But we still obviously got to get at least one striker in. We also, need a right winner. Well, I don't think it's as much as a priority area as bringing a midfielder in or a striker in, but I still believe we need a right winner. But yeah, these still deficiencies in the squad that I do need to be addressed. But it's a long process, like I mentioned, and I think we need at least 5 to 6 more signings, maybe even more, if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club, and if we are, to be a future title contenders. As I updated you recently as well, Solsjaker has drawn an 8-man transfer list of long-term targets and that. But for my own overarching view on it, and I think, we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. So we'll probably look to get a couple of players in January, at least 1 or 2 in January, but I think we'll do the vast majority of it next summer. So we'll look to address some of the problematic areas in January, then we'll, look to do the rest of it, of course, next summer and that. So, like I said to you, I think Solskjaer does also want to continue the policy of recruiting young British players, like he did do during the course of the summer and that. There was recent reports that said, Solskjaer could consider, changing his transfer strategy. Solskjaer's compatible to Ferguson in that aspect, because obviously, Ferguson did develop a lot of young players and that, and according to Solskjaer, he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. But I just believe that, to me, the expectations, seem too high for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Man United, because I did say, didn't I, at the start of this season, that I expected us, to get into the top 4 this season, and that's overall our expectations anyway, so we can get into the Champions League. I did expect us not to win the league this season or, mount any kind of title challenge up, despite the 3 signings that were recommended in during the summer, but I still expected us, to enjoy a better season this season than what we saw last season. But I do believe our aspirations are definitely going to be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons, definitely. But we're 9 points behind top 4 at the moment. There's still a lot of twists and turns to come. There's still a long way to go. We're only 12 games into the Premier League season. We've only won 4 games so far in the league. We've drawn 4 and we've lost 4. So in that aspect, we've only registered 16 points from possible 36, and we still know that's nowhere near good enough to our standards and that. But we are now 7th in the league. And we're not in that commanding position, as we should be, especially reflecting on the amount of money that's being invested into the club, the size and the potential of this club. We should be at minimum challenging for that current top 4. But when you're not in Champions League football anywhere, it's going to be very difficult to attract players to the elite level. So I think we are orchestrating next year, probably in January, on spending up to around £200 million on Erling Haaland and Jadon Sancho, and they are obviously two players on our agenda. I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified them as his two main priority targets. So I think Erling Haaland probably would be the right calibre player for Manchester United. Obviously, there's been a lot of speculation going on about him, at least for the last couple of weeks and that. I think quite a few other clubs have attracted their interest in the player. I think the beneficial thing about recommending Erling Haaland in is that obviously he's played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance during his short period with Mould. Also, and Solskjaer is keen on reuniting with the player. I think Erling Haaland would cost us in the excess of around £85 million. He's only 19 years of age. He's been a revelation this season for Red Bull Salzburg. And he scored 26 goals in 18 games in all competitions. So he's proven this season he is a prolific goal scorer. And if he does come to Manchester United, I do believe he can replicate at Man United, what he has done this season with Red Bull Salzburg. I think this is actually his first season with Red Bull Salzburg. But it's obviously, like I updated you recently, that more speculation is being fueled up. Because obviously recently Erling Haaland's father, Alf Inge Haaland, has obviously visited Manchester United's training ground and that. I do probably presume for some kind of talks. But yes, I think we're probably going to sign him in January. It could be more probable to be next summer, because maybe Red Bull Salzburg may not be willing to sell him midway through the season. But I think we'll try as hard as we can. I think we'll try as hard as we can, to get him in January and that. Jadon Sancho, like I said, he's obviously going to cost the club a substantial amount. I think he's probably going to cost us in the excess of around £100 million. So overall, if we are to get these two players in, we're going to spend from £185 million to £200 million on the duo. Don't forget though, take into account that Borussia Dortmund got Jadon Sancho for next to now. They only paid around £7 or £8 million from Man City. But obviously, analysing his performances in the couple of years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown. Because since his arrival in Germany from Man City back in 2017, he has been a revelation. Don't get me wrong, at the moment he's enjoying a difficult time. Jadon Sancho is primarily a right winger. Like I said, but he can also, play centrally. But I'd love us to recommend Jadon Sancho in, because I think, he would, complement the likes of Rashford, Martial and Daniel James in our attacking line. So I would love to bring him in. He is only the age of 19. He is still under contract with Dortmund until 2022. But yeah, he's done very, very well. But obviously, I think the also beneficial thing about recommending him in is I did serve a couple of years with Man City. Obviously, never got assured first team opportunities at Man City, and this is the main factor reason why I left Man City to join Borussia Dortmund and that. It isn't only been Man United in for him. Obviously, Liverpool have been in for him. PSG and Real Madrid have also been in for him, but it did actually say recently, we are regarded as the favourites to sign Jadon Sancho. So yeah, so they are our two main priority targets. I think it's also very, very imminent that we're going to sign Mario Mandzukic in January. I do believe, from my own perception, that's going to happen, according to recent reports. It obviously did reveal out the other week that Mario Mandzukic has made a decision regarding his future, and he has chosen to join Manchester United in January. The good thing is about it, he's a cheap solution. I do believe we'll only have to pay around £12 or £13 million for Mario Mandzukic. And, I admire him because I think he's enjoyed a fantastic career. The vast majority of his tenure with Juventus, he's done really, really well. Obviously, hasn't been given any opportunities this season. This is why, obviously, Serpi's two requirements at Juventus is Mario Mandzukic. And this is why, obviously, Juventus are in talks of, obviously, this is why they're in talks of axing, Mario Mandzukic off. I think we're only prepared to hand him around an 18-month contract. Obviously, I'm very sceptical about us handing him a long-term contract, obviously regarding his age, because Mario Mandzukic is 33 years of age, and you can say he's only got a couple of years left in his footballing career. But Mario Mandzukic is now into his 5th season with Juventus. I think he is still under contract with them until 2021. But I do actually believe that he probably will be our first signing in January. He will be our 4th signing overall under the Ole Gunnar Solsjaker era. But like I said, the only element of concern I have got about us recommending him in, he is 33. But I think he's a good replacement for Lukaku. Obviously, you can't see him as a long-term replacement for Lukaku and that. And again, I think a few other teams have gone in for Mandzukic. Moussa Dembele is also another player on our current agenda. We was in for Moussa Dembele, don't forget, during the course of the summer transfer window. Like I said, he wasn't one of our main priority targets. We was sort of tentatively linked to him. Again, if we're going for Moussa Dembele next year, he is going to cost the club a substantial amount of money. I do believe we're probably going to have to pay in the excess of around 60 or 70 million pounds, 70 million pounds at an estimated guess. Lyon again got him for next to nothing. They only paid around 20 million pounds for him from Celtic last summer. But, analyse his performances, his valuation has persistently grown. But he's now into his 2nd season with Lyon. Last season was his debut season with Lyon. But, I think the beneficial thing about recommending Moussa Dembele is that, obviously, he's played in the Premier League. He began his senior career with Fulham, and he was there a number of years. Obviously, he had a good couple of years with Celtic after he left Fulham. Now he's doing well at Lyon. But if he comes to Man United, I think he can, replicate what he's done at them teams. He's an out-and-out number 9. He's only the age of 23 as well, Moussa Dembele. So, again, I think he would be the right calibre player. So they're all the attackers on our agenda. There's also quite a few midfielders on our agenda. Want to also give you some news regarding Bruno Fernandes. I was reading reports about Bruno Fernandes yesterday, and reportedly it said we could land Bruno Fernandes in January because reportedly Sporting Lisbon are looking to generate funds, to clear their debt. So I presume they must be in debt, and they're in debt by about, looking to clear the debt of around £57 million or something like that. Reportedly, Bruno Fernandes, if we are to go in for him in January, will cost us in the region of around £65 million. Don't forget, he was one of our main priority targets during the course of the summer transfer window. But obviously, we couldn't get him in because Man United and Sporting Lisbon couldn't come to an agreement on a fee. Don't forget also, Tottenham had inquired about getting him during the summer. Liverpool had also, inquired about him. But it was mainly Man United that were in for him again. Bruno Fernandes, predominantly an attacking midfielder. But again, I think he would be the right calibre player for Man United. He is now, by the way, 25 years of age. He's been in Portugal now quite a few years. Obviously, when he was younger, he spent, I think, the entirety of his career with Italy. Don't forget, he was with Udinese and Sampdoria. Obviously, before that, he was with Novria. But yeah, I think he's still got quite a few years left on his contract with Sporting Lisbon because I think he's under contract with them until 2023 and that. So I think we could definitely reignite our interest in Bruno Fernandes next year. Obviously, Declan Rice is one of the players that is on our agenda. I think again, Declan Rice would be the right calibre player for Man United. He's well Premier League proven. He initially learned his trade in the Premier League. Again, he has been a revelation for West Ham, and he has been in their senior squad now for a number of years. I do presume if we are to go in for Declan Rice next year, it's probably going to cost the club a substantial amount. I think West Ham are keen on keeping him. But yeah, and Declan Rice is primarily a central defensive midfielder. Well, he's primarily a defensive midfielder, but he can also, operate as a centre back, but primarily a defensive midfielder. He has got a long-term contract at West Ham. He's under contract with them until 2024. In total for West Ham, he has made 73 appearances, I think, something like that, in the league. The vast majority of his appearances have come in the Premier League, but I think he's made about 82 appearances in all competitions, and he is only the age of 20. But obviously, before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea. Don't forget, he was in their youth academy for a number of years. But obviously, he actually never got into Chelsea's first team and that. But he's another one of the players who's on our agenda and that. So there's so many players on our agenda, who we could go in for next year and that. But even though recently, we have rejuvenated ourselves and that, I still believe, like I do keep mentioning, we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. I think, we need to get rid of our current board, because I think the board have been a liability for several years. I think we also need to get rid of Ed Woodward, unless what he demands is true about, bringing these world-class signings in. But I think he replicates the board, Ed Woodward. He's obviously not reliable enough as well to oversee our transfer business. I think there's still obviously players at Manchester United that I do need to leave. And I think another 4 or 5 more players do need to leave, if I'm going to be quite honest with you, at least next year. I do know that a lot of players have obviously left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, but definitely still more players do need to leave. Still need to leave, and I've said to you, the players that I think need to leave, and I've got a lot of element of concerns about Ashley Young. I've got a lot of element of concerns about Jones. I've got a lot of element of concerns about Matic. I've got some element of concerns about Lingard, but I still wouldn't consider getting rid of him yet, despite the fact, that he's enjoyed a really difficult start to the season, like I did say, reflecting on Jesse Lingard's status at the football club and that, and not the number of years he's been here, he should be performing to the standards as we should expect from Lingard. But you got to say we're young. He's past his sell-by date. He is now 34 years of age. He's currently 35 next year and that. And he's been a long-serving player here. Young has been here since the Alex Ferguson era. Young is now into his 9th season at Man United. He has been here 8 years. And it was a bad mistake from the football club last season, giving him that new 1-year extension. And there's question marks regarding Solskjaer or not. Why is Young been playing on a regular basis? Jones, we shouldn't have given him a new long-term contract last season. Jones has been here more or less the same amount of time as Ashley Young. Jones is now into his 9th season at Man United. He's obviously now been here 8 years. And he's obviously now aging up. And Jones' appearances at the football club are limited anywhere, especially in the Premier League, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre-backs are Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Obviously, regarding that, I've got the same perception on Rojo. His appearances are limited in the Premier League and that. We have still seen glimpses of how good he can be. I think Rojo's going to be here for at least another year anyway, because I think Solskjaer has confirmed he is preventing Rojo from leaving the football club in January. I think he's revealed the reason, or the couple of reasons why. I'm surprised he didn't leave during the summer, because don't forget he was linked with a move to Everton. We was demanding around £25 million for Rojo. Obviously, Everton were reluctant to pay what we was demanding, so his move to Everton never materialised in that. Rojo's 29, so he's aging up, and he's still got under 2 years left on his contract at Man United and that. But his versatility is very, very good. He's predominantly a centre-back, but you can also play him as a full-back and a wing-back and that, so you can play in various positions in that back line. Like I said, with Nemanja Matic, too slow, too easily predictable, makes that midfield look totally imbalanced, and, due to his inconsistency anywhere, he's initially lost his place in the team. That's totally comparison to last season, because last season Matic was actually our first choice, obviously. But he's been very, very inconsistent in that. And obviously he's out with injury at the moment, as you all know. Matic has obviously now got a minor problem in that. But he is now anywhere 31 years of age. I think we'll probably lose him on a free transfer, if I'm going to be quite honest with you, at the end of the season, because Matic comes to an end of his contract at the end of the season. His current contract, but Man United do have an option to extend it by a further year and that. But yeah, he's too inconsistent, is Matic, and again, I think Man United overpaid for him. We paid just under it was around £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2017 and that. But yeah, I do agree that we definitely know more paid for him. He still get a bit. I still think he'll get chances this season. Probably more likely to be in the Europa League and the Carabao Cup and that. But he's initially lost his place in the team and that. But yeah, definitely know without a shadow of a doubt, more players do need to leave the football club. Definitely. And yeah, obviously, analysed it this season anyway. Solsjaker has had to make a lot of alterations in the squad anyway. Obviously, reflecting on the amount of injuries that Man United have had and that. Obviously, some players are now back from injury, as you all know. Solskjaer, I think, has provided us with some team news, for the Sheffield United game on Sunday, and I think some more players are expected, to be back from injury. I think it's been confirmed that Matic, Alex Tuanzebe, and Luke Shaw are expected, to have regained their full fitness. Like I said, Matic has been out with a minor problem. Luke Shaw's been out with a hamstring injury. He hasn't played since the 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace. And Tuanzebe has been out with a hip injury. I think Diego Dalot should be available for the Sheffield United game, or minimum at least be able to take part, because I think it's confirmed he will be back from injury for the Sheffield United game. It was unknown at the first, when he would be back in contention. I think Diego Dalot has only played a few games this season, but he should be back. One thing I can assure is that Scott McTominay is out. He will not be playing against Sheffield United. Don't forget, during the international break, McTominay obviously had to withdraw from the Scotland squad. I think he would be infuriated about that. Scott McTominay has got an ankle injury. Don't forget, he had initial scans on his ankle to find the extent of the injury, and it's obviously now severe. And I think it almost assured that McTominay will miss the games against City and Tottenham next month. But like I did put into the equation, Scott McTominay has been a revelation this season for Man United. He's been a revelation this season for Man United as McTominay, in regards to him being a long-term solution for Man United, I've got element of concerns about that, but to be fair, this season, he has been absolutely fantastic, and he has deserved to keep his players in the team as McTominay, and he's definitely hit the ground running. But he has done really, really well. I can obviously assure that Paul Pogba will not be playing against Sheffield United, because Solskjaer did say he's not expected back until December. The last league game that Paul Pogba did play was in the 1-1 draw with Arsenal earlier on in the season, but Paul Pogba's missed the vast majority of our games this season due to injury. This ankle injury has been surrounding the player for a matter of weeks, but I gave you the news, didn't I, last week, that Paul Pogba travelled to Amsterdam to have his ankle caster removed, so that indicates out that he's close to recovering from injury, but I'm still very, very sceptical about him, being fully fit for the game against Sheffield United on Sunday and that. But Solskjaer did say there may have been a slight chance he could have been available for Sheffield United. I've been reading recent reports up about Paul Pogba, and it does say he is actually desperate to quit Man United, and obviously he wants to seek a new challenge, like he revealed at the beginning of the summer anyway. He said he wanted to leave Man United. I think his preference is definitely now move to Real Madrid, just like it was for the entirety of the summer transfer window and that. But I think, like I do keep mentioning, why Paul Pogba's move to Real Madrid never materialised during the summer is because obviously it was reflecting basically on the substantial amount, we put on him, because we was demanding in the excess of around £180 million. Obviously, Real Madrid were not willing to meet that, because during the summer anyway, Real Madrid spent a substantial amount. They spent around £300 million on 5 players. They did sell some players, so they did generate some of the money back in that. They also had Christian Eriksen on their agenda during the course of the summer. But I think Paul Pogba will leave Man United next year anywhere. If it's not in January, it will definitely be next summer. But if we got rid of Paul Pogba, we'd generate a substantial amount for him. Regardless of where Paul Pogba stays or goes anywhere, we still need to address that midfield. But yeah, Paul Pogba's now into his 4th season as a Man United player, since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016 and that. And, he's mainly enjoyed a difficult time in comparison to his time in Turin with Juventus, because I think he enjoyed 4 successful years in Turin and that. But I think he's been mainly totally comparison at Man United. Don't get me wrong, we saw glimpses of how good Paul Pogba can be, in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solsjaker was the interim manager. But I think prior to that, he's been mainly inconsistent. And Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract with Man United, with an option to extend it by a further year. And he is on a substantial amount at the club. Pogba is on around 290 grand a week. So in that aspect, he is one of the highest paid players in the world. Sorry, not in the world, at the club, sorry. But I still believe he's another one of the players that does currently want out. Obviously, we've got Bay out, still injured. I think it did say he's expected out until the end of the year. I think Fossil Mentu is still out and that. So we have had a lot of injuries now this season, to be fair and that. But I think, Fred's also, done very, very well recently. Fred has done really, really well, so I will credit him for that. I've probably got the same perception on Fred of what I've got from McTominay, where despite the fact, both players are comparisons. So what I mean is, they are 2 different players. But Solskjaer recently confirmed anywhere that Fred will take Paul Pogba's position for a while. But recently Fred's done well. He's hit the ground running. He's been very, very mobile. I will agree on the aspects that Man United did overpay for Fred last summer, because we paid around, was it £50 million, or just under £50 million for him. But I think Man United do need to give Fred more time at the football club, definitely. But he's done really, really well recently. And Fred does believe from his own perception that the backing of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a part to play of his improved form. So he said trust of the manager is obviously very, very essential. And Fred's gaining more of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's trust anywhere, like I mentioned and that. But, analysing our squad, it is a pretty decent squad. We've obviously got a lot of experienced players in the squad. We've also got a lot of young players in the squad, that are developing and trying to improve at Man United, as you all know. And that's one aspect to me that does credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He has got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players and that. He has got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players. Like I said, I've got some element of concerns about certain young upcoming players, and this is why I did say we need to get rid of some of them next year, definitely. If we could do that, that would be good. That would be a good piece of business from the football club if we could do that. I've got element of concerns about Chon and Angel Gomez. I think they're 2 young upcoming players we need to get rid of next year. But I can assure that Mason Greenwood, Brandon Williams, and Tuanzebe will all become successes at the football club, definitely. But yeah, these are a lot of young upcoming players in the squad and that. And Solskjaer, even despite the fact we've got a lot of young players now, Solskjaer still wants to recommend more young players into the squad and that. Like he has confirmed. I also credit him recently because I think we've showed a lot of tactical flexibility. His team selections have seemed to be right, which is good. But I also do have some element of concerns about Solskjaer, Like I said, my element of concern about him is that he hasn't really got that experience as a manager, not really to the highest level, especially because he hasn't got it as a manager, and I just don't think he's got any intuition on how to manage a big football club like Manchester United, basically, and that. Obviously, him as a manager is totally comparison to as he was as a player, because as a player, he has got that proven pedigree, because, he had a great, he was a long-serving player for Man United. He enjoyed 11 years with a football club, don't forgetting that. But Solskjaer hasn't enjoyed a long tenure so far, he's only been here 11 months. You know, he's only been here just under a year overall, and he's been permanent manager now for around 8 months and that. And obviously, we do know for the vast majority of that 8 months, it has all gone wrong. Mainly, you know, in comparison to his time, you know, when he was the interim manager in that 3 month period, you know. But, you know, take into account, you know, what club Solskjaer's managed before he came Man United. You know, he managed Mould. They're no big club. He won a couple of Norwegian titles with them. And obviously before that, he was at Cardiff. But Solskjaer only enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff anyway. You know, obviously he only managed around 29 or 30 games for them. He ended up getting Cardiff relegated. He ended up, you know, getting Cardiff relegated and that. And some Man United fans did fear early on in the season that he could, you know, do the same thing at Man United as what he did do with Cardiff. But like I said, you know, that will obviously, you know, not happen. Yeah, and you know, like I gave you the news recently, you know, regarding Romelu Lukaku. I gave you the news, didn't I, about him? He actually, you know, said that Solskjaer, you know, tried to convince him to stay. So what he's saying is that Solskjaer didn't want him to leave the club. Lukaku did admit in March, early on this year, obviously when he was at Man United, he obviously, you know, wanted to leave anywhere and that. But I think in a way it was beneficial that we got rid of him because anyway, initially lost his place in the team and that. He did come up at the right moments at Man United and that. Lukaku did enjoy 2 seasons at the football club. You know, he scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions in total. But I thought, to be fair, Lukaku enjoyed a great first season with Manchester United, but didn't really replicate that in his second season. I was happy with the money we generated from his departure because we got £74 million from him from Inter Milan. And I think he has been a revelation since he's gone to Inter Milan and that. But I do agree we overpaid for him from Everton because we paid £75 million for him. There was £15 million in add-ons, which did potentially rise it to around £90 million and that. But more or less, we recouped the money anywhere that we paid from Everton. So was happy, you know, what we generated from his current departure. But some Man United fans may believe it was a mistake, you know, from us getting rid of Romelu Lukaku and. You know, obviously, the vast majority of our players that left anywhere during the course of the summer, obviously, you know, went to Italy. So Italy, obviously, you know, during the summer was a very, very popular destination. Yeah, so like I said, we not only a lot of money has been invested into the football club over the years in all the managerial eras. Also now we have got players on big contracts, so we'll also take that into account. And but yeah, that's been everything to update with. So I'm going to give you obviously my Sheffield United versus Man United preview. That will be tomorrow, or it will be Friday. Friday, it probably will be more likely to be Friday, or it could be, you know, tomorrow, but it'll be one of them days and that. Yeah, and Sheffield United is going to be a tough game because, like I mentioned, you know, they've enjoyed a great start to this season. They've been a revelation themselves, the Sheffield United. You know, they're sitting 5th or 6th in the Premier League. You've got to credit Chris Wilder. He's done a good job, you know, progressing them from League One to 5th or 6th in the Premier League. And this is now his 4th season there with Sheffield United and that. A lot of people believe, you know, he would be the right candidate to replace Solskjaer and that. Don't forget. But this is going to be a very, very tough game, like I mentioned, against Sheffield United. Yeah, but I still don't think Solskjaer's the right man. I don't think he can invoke Ferguson's legacy to save him at Man United, definitely not. But I think regardless of where our manager is anywhere, we'll never be the team, you know, that we was under Alex Ferguson, you know, without a shadow of a doubt and that. So yeah, this has been a very, very long video, guys. Just wanted to say that I think if we do sack Solskjaer, Pochettino could be probably our next manager. I can't assure that, but I think he could be because I think now we'll step our interest up in him. Now he's been sacked from Tottenham, but don't get me wrong, there's quite a few other clubs that are monitoring Pochettino. Yeah, but I don't think he'll be managed just for long. I think he'll definitely get another job. But yeah, so anyway, guys, drop me a comment, like, explore on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching.